Welcome to 11th edition, where we take an existing magic card and design 10 more versions of it. I'm Tim.
And I'm Jay. Today's card is Raise Dead. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Second edition. Lotleth Raising Ritual. Set on the plane of Ravnica. Return target non-black creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Until end of turn, creature spells you cast that share a color with that creature cost you one less to cast.
Ooh.
It lets you cast the creature you bring back for one less, but it also will let you cast other stuff.
Bring back my Boros creature and cast like multiple Goblin Pikers in one turn.
Exactly.
The Ravnica guilds are maybe like starting to work together after the War of the Spire.
Nice. Yeah, that would be some good flavor text to add to that.
Raise Dead, like you kind of understand, hey, I'm getting this card back. I eventually will cast it. But this says, no, this turn you're doing something.
This also, calls back a little bit of the Radiance mechanic.
A little bit of Radiance, a little bit of Dark Ritual. Not quite getting mana, but you're...
Cost reduction, rituals in the name.
I like that.
All right. So, Tim, what do you got?
Third edition, Infection Vector. Phyrexian black mana for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Creature spells you cast this turn with the same name as that card enter the battlefield with an Infect counter.
Ooh, Infect counter.
Ikoria ability counter tech, but applied to the Phyrexians.
I worry about the sheer amount of counters that an Infect counter implies.
Well, here at 11th edition, we're trying to support the third-party gaming supplies market who give us, really fancy ability counters, cool-looking -1/-1 counters.
So Phyrexian mana, so you can cast this for just 2 life.
Are we in the same zone as mutagenic growth here, where we're doing things that are probably supposed to be locked to a color?
Color that would have the biggest trouble on its own would be blue.
What's the best thing that we can pull back and give an Infect counter?
You want stuff that's cheap, so this would be nice in a Rats deck.
Something unblockable.
Pretty mean with ball lightning variants.
This card specifies cards with that name, so you could give both of them an Infect counter.
4th edition, Bloodline Inscription. This is set on the plane of Fiora. Before you shuffle your deck to start the game, you may reveal this card and name and reveal a card that you drafted. If you do, you begin the game with 2 less life. Choose one. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or return all creature cards with the name selected with cards named Bloodline Inscription from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh, okay. So this is like a one-shot hidden agenda conspiracy.
If you're drafting 4 or 5 copies of a terrible common, you can get them all back to your hand for 1 black mana. I was also considering, whether this needed to have that Draft Matters technology. What are the highest number of creatures you can get back at uncommon?
There's no rest for the wicked. Return to your hand all creatures in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So if we time limit it, it seems like you can get 5 cards.
There's a Kamigawa block X spell.
Death Denied.
Yes.
If you had sort of Maelstrom Pulse, but bringing things back, instead of being like a Draft Matters card, it's just, hey, if you do manage to stock your graveyard with a bunch of stuff, you get to get everything with the same name back.
Okay. Bring it into more of a black bordered world.
I like this feeling, though. Everybody from this faction, we own the grave plot that they're going to be placed in when they're dead. I don't know. Oh, how about something like a family plot?
That's a perfect name for Fiore as well. We're changing it. Family plot. That's its name.
5th edition is Pay the Ferryman. This is a black mana for a sorcery. Kicker, sacrifice a treasure. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If the kicker cost was paid, return that card to the battlefield instead.
Nice.
I probably paid some pirate 3 mana to get on the battlefield to then give me a treasure.
And then it becomes a zombifier.
Yeah. I was looking around at Raise Dead from Dungeons & Dragons. Casting the spell Raise Dead requires a gem worth at least 500 gold pieces.
I can't figure out if this is too cheap or too expensive as a kicker.
Natural combo. Dockside Extortionist. He enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Just pay one of those treasures and use another treasure to pay for your spell. Quickie Reanimate. That could be on turn 2 or 3.
That's pretty solid. Here's a commander for you. Klor, Onake Grave Robber. Pay 2, a black and a red, and discard 2 cards to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Also has a triggered ability. Whenever a creature would be put into your hand from your graveyard, Klor, Onake Grave Robber, deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target.
And a Shoryuken as it rises out of the graveyard.
Yep. You're never going to end up with card advantage from this.
You're probably going to hit card parity because you are getting a card back and also killing something.
That is true. He's going to want you to run all the different variations on Raise Dead because cheap direct damage.
Goes well with Angie Falconwrath. Can tap to discard, draw a card, but whenever you discard a Madness card, untap her. You're just looking to discard and draw, 15, 20 cards in a turn. And then you rip them all back with something like Shadow of the Grave. 10 creatures come back from the graveyard to my hand, and then I just machine gun everything that I'd ever like to shoot.
That's my kind of EDH. That's what I like to hear.
I've got Race Death. Creatures you control have haste until end of turn. At the beginning of the end step, return all creature cards put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn.
So the haste and the returning at the end of turn, it's a classic black-red, like invasion style mashup.
Oh, you see it more of a mashup than a synergy. If you have a good amount of mana flowing, and you have a couple of these, you basically do this one turn after another. I may be able to almost have like a dash-like play style.
This is a very Mardu card.
It probably makes things like 4/1s a little bit better if I play Anaki Ogre. The 1 toughness is much less of a liability. Normally, aggro decks have to be concerned about keeping their creatures alive so they can attack multiple turns. I could probably rig a situation where I'm at least going to get 2 creatures back, and maybe my opponent kind of has to block a bunch of them, or they take 12. Or they take 12, and now I have some burn spells in my hand, and I finish them off next turn.
It does work kind of in the ETB deck.
There are a couple creatures that, like ETB, give you some mana back. Probably the most famous one being like Burning Tree Emissary.
Sure.
Give them all haste, let them all charge in. Or Living Lightning, return an instant sorcery, something like that from your graveyard to your hand to keep the rhythm going.
8th edition, Memory Sigil Sentinel. 2/3 with Unearth for 2 and a black. And when it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink until end of turn. All of the Alara block unearths matched the colors of the card, whether it was blue, red, or black.
Alara is fusing in some way, the Conflux. Holy Bant Knight might be learning some things about death from, Friendly Zombie.
A lot of the Bant Knights use these magic-infused sigils for various effects. So this would kind of bring back an echo of himself for a turn.
When you bring this back, you get to deal 3, gain 3, sort of. If these Holy Knights taught a zombie about Exalted in return, this could crunch in for more, which would be pretty sweet.
Now I'm kind of wondering whether I should make him power 5 or greater.
Oh. 9th edition here, we're going to green. We've got Gray's Dead. Just kidding. The real 9th edition is return from the Tomb of Ice. X and a black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Ripple X. When you cast this spell, you may reveal the top X cards of your library. You may cast any revealed cards with the same name as the spell without paying their mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. From Cold Snap.
But Ripple X. Okay.
If you had a larger set than Cold Snap, which was pretty small and allowed for getting 6 of the same card, you would need a way to sort of ratchet up and down how hard it would be for you to actually ripple with your card realistically.
Okay, let's say I cast, Ripple for 5. Mm-hmm. I'll look at the top 5 cards of the library, and maybe I hit another return from the Tomb of Ice. But I cast that without paying its mana cost, so X is automatically 0 for the next one.
Yeah, you're right. This would need some tweak to Ripple where you're able to hand on your X to the next card.
Yeah, I think just one more line of rules text will work.
Yeah.
And it's doable, and that would be awesome. I love Ripple.
Oh, we got top Ripple fan here on 11th edition.
Yes, Ripple was great.
What was the best Ripple card? What was your favorite?
I was a fan of the red one.
You just want to pay 2 mana and shock 7 things?
Pretty much. 10th edition, Vim Vigor. 1 and 2 green, sorcery. It's a rare. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If it was a creature card, gain 5 life. Otherwise, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature you control.
This has some of that Pulse of Marasa feel. Buy back some of the time you're spending. It makes me think that I'd prefer to get back non-creature permanents with this. Maybe I'm playing like some Garrick Vivian deck. I'm okay with my Planeswalker dying because I'm going to make the beast that Planeswalker made even chunkier while I get the card back. So I feel like if I'm only ever doing this for just the creature mode.
5 life's not the reward, yeah. But that's why the other mode will put you in a different position if you suddenly need to switch strategies.
When I first read this, it reminded me of Primeval Bounty. When you cast a creature, get a creature. When you cast a non-creature, get some counters. When you play a land, gain some life. Nature is going to give you what it feels is best for the situation that you're in.
Druid Satchel.
11th edition here. If you read straight across the top, says Raise Dead. But you should inject the particle the in between. The raise side says return to its owner's hand, ... The dead side says, target creature card in a graveyard, blue, black, get a Raise Dead. However, it's got an extra mechanic across the bottom here, which I've called Tall Tale. Tall Tales being famously unreliable. You replace half of this card with another half from your hand. Pay its total cost. I have a couple other sample cards here. Release, Unknown. Release being a red card saying, put onto the battlefield. Unknown saying, a creature card from target player's hand. Reveal the hand. So if I'm looking at Raise Dead and like, no, I need something now, I can replace Raise with Release, put onto the battlefield, target creature card in a graveyard. Is this just insane? Have I gone totally off my rocker?
I love it. So this is definitely playing in the same space as...
we got some host augment action.
Yes.
Absolutely. We got some splice on arcane action. Shout out to Kamigawa again. Kind of crackpot, but...
Praise the heroes. Praise is put 3/1/1 counters on. Heroes is target attacking or blocking creature. Amazing. So using Praise the Dead, our lord, you get to put 3+1/+1 counters on target creature card in the graveyard. Awesome.
Shoutouts to Skullbriar.
With Release the Heroes, you get to put onto the battlefield target attacking or blocking creature.
Plagiarize the Living. Create a token copy of ... target creature. So you can create instead a token copy of target attacking or blocking creature. You can create a token copy of a creature card from target player's hand, target creature card in a graveyard, or put 3+1/+1 counters on target creature.
And I'm pretty sure that I just heard Ellie Schifrin's head explode. Well, thank you for joining us for another 11th edition.
If you've got your own version of Raise Dead or requests for the next 11th edition, comment below.
You can also reach us at Magic Design Cast and on the Beacon of Creation Discord.
Thanks for watching.